In this video, I'd like to talk about something that we use and need every day and occasionally lose sleep over: money. Now that I'm just a couple of months away from not receiving a regular paycheck every 2 weeks, I've really become interested in how I'm going to manage my finances. Hi, I'm Susan and welcome to the channel. Now, before we get started, I want to make something very clear. I am the last person on earth to give financial advice. Quite the opposite. I'm opening up today's discussion to ask for your advice. If you've been successful sticking to a budget, how did you do it? I've been preparing for this financially for quite some time, and I've had a detailed retirement plan drawn up. Where the funds are coming from, tax strategies, financial plans, but the day-to-day spending and how I'm going to have the discipline to stick to an actual budget, well, this is where the rubber meets the road. There's no putting off now in implementing some real strategies on spending more wisely, more intentionally, less impulsively and carelessly, to ensure that the life that I have planned for the future actually becomes a reality. Because for me, the future is now. I'm not talking about restricting spending so much that there's no quality of life. I'm talking about being more intentional with how the money is spent so that it doesn't just slip through my fingers. I think when we're intentional about spending money, the natural result can only be that we spend less. Let's be honest, we've all made a silly purchase, or 10 or 100. That sweater in the closet with the tag still on it, or that subscription that you never ever used but you still pay for monthly. But oftentimes I think we spend money not because we need something, but because we're feeling something. Sadness, boredom, loneliness. A little retail therapy never hurt anyone until the bill comes in. While the initial purchase can provide a temporary feeling of happiness or control, this feeling often fades quickly, leaving behind financial regret. Sometimes we spend to feel better. Sometimes we spend because we're not thinking long term. It's hard to picture your future self when your current self just wants Thai takeout and a new throw pillow. And sometimes we spend because we don't feel we're worthy of more. This one's heavy, but some of us believe we'll never have a secure future, so why even bother trying? Maybe we could alter that thinking and learn how to spend with intention, but not deprivation. And I think it's all about realizing what we feel we need to be content, to have enough. But I do know this: a new pair of shoes or a new candle is not going to somehow make us feel like we have enough. When you spend less, you save, and you're giving your future self a gift. When you overspend or take on bad debt, you're stealing from yourself. You're basically saying, "Good luck, future me." Would we rob ourselves of joy, health, peace of mind? Probably not on purpose. So maybe we could start treating savings like a form of self-respect. It's never too early and it's never too late to start being more mindful of how we spend our money. Little leaks sink big ships. Say that 3 times fast. Little leaks sink big ships. Here are several examples of ways that money can slip right through our fingers without us even knowing it. If we can plug some of these leaks, there is potential to spend less money and actually have money to save. Subscriptions we don't use. Many people subscribe to streaming services, apps, or memberships that they actually never use. Review your subscriptions regularly and cancel anything you're not actively using. Convenience items. Buying pre-cut vegetables, bottled water, or other snacky convenience items is so much more money than buying them and preparing them yourself. Yes, they are convenient, but you are definitely paying a high price for not chopping your own veggies. Wasting food. Plan your meals, store food properly, and use leftovers to minimize food waste. Dining out frequently. Cooking at home is almost always cheaper than ordering takeout or dining out. Here in Ontario, a glass of wine at an average restaurant is $12 to $14, plus tax, plus tip, in that order. Well, that's the price of a bottle of wine, at least the wine that I drink. I think the 20-somethings are onto something these days when they which is pre-party, where they drink at home before they go out and take an Uber, and then don't drink very much when they're out at a bar or a restaurant. They're smarter than their parents were. They're not going to pay that exorbitant price for booze at a bar. Impulse purchases. Avoiding impulse purchases, especially late night online, can save you so much money. The trick is just to put it in the cart and review the cart the next day. And probably 8 times out of 10, you'll say, what was I thinking? I don't need that. At least that happens with me. Late payment fees. Late fees on bills can be avoided by simply setting up automatic withdrawals. Easy peasy. And bank fees. Overdraft fees, ATM fees, and other bank charges can be minimized by choosing a bank with lower fees or utilizing their online banking services. Excessive spending on coffee and snacks. Making your own coffee or bringing your own snacks to work can save a ton of money. Financial personality Dave Ramsey has a stark reminder for anyone wondering why their finances feel stuck. Small daily expenses can snowball into a major financial drain. Ramsey posted online earlier this year that spending $13.70 a day on stupid things adds up to $5,000 a year. At first, $13.70 doesn't sound like a big deal. It could be a coffee and a snack or a quick online purchase. Spending $13.70 a day might feel harmless, but over the course of a year, it adds up to $5,000. Buying things you already have. Before making a purchase, just take a quick inventory of what you already own to avoid buying duplicates, says the woman who has probably 6 gray hoodies. Unnecessary upgrades. Resist the urge to upgrade to the latest version of software or devices if the one that you currently own is working well. Ignoring coupons and discounts. Take advantage of coupons, discounts, and promotional offers when available. You know your old when. Compare prices before making purchases. It sounds so ridiculously simple, but compare prices before making a big purchase, especially with something like insurance. ATM fees can add up quickly. Stick to ATMs within your own bank. So here's something I've heard a lot about lately, this cash envelope budget system. It's a method of budgeting where you allocate an amount of money to certain categories that you typically spend a fair bit of money on each month, like groceries, dining out, pets, gifts. You withdraw cash from your bank account for these categories, put the cash into envelopes, and then when you make a purchase from this category, say your groceries, then you use the cash instead of using your bank card or your MasterCard. And when the money for that category is gone, then it's gone. This method of budgeting is supposed to keep us more mindful of spending, to keep us more accountable, specifically when it comes to potential impulse buys. Instead of just tapping a plastic card and having no real sense that it's your money you're actually spending, you have to use cash, the real deal. It may seem limiting and constricting, but for many who follow this plan, it's a passion, it's a way of life that, yes, is challenging, but also extremely rewarding. Have any of you used this method? Did you find that it worked for you? I'd be so curious to know. I think the goal isn't to live smaller, but it's to live smarter and more intentionally, more aware of where our dollars are actually going. And once we become aware and plug up some of those leaks, we just may earn some peace of mind and a sense of competence and confidence when it comes to our money. Not just for today, but for all of our tomorrows. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I'm so glad that you did. Please like and subscribe if this video resonated with you, and I look forward to your helpful comments. Until next time, take care.